boar charge came out of nowhere, a thunder of hooves, a wall of bristled muscle, and the sudden knowledge that if we didn't act that morning, a neighbor's field would be ruined by nightfall. Wild hogs aren't a distant problem. They're a fast-moving, rooting, destructive crisis eating into America's farmlands and forests. And today, I'm in the thick of it, cold breath steaming, gun snug in my hands. Hunting dogs baying like alarms through the trees, because unchecked hog populations mean ripped-up cornfields. Shredded fences, killed livestock, and soil erosion that steals next season's harvest. Overpopulation has turned these animals from a seasonal nuisance into a public enemy. They tear vegetation, uproot saplings, gnaw at young tree roots, and churn fragile topsoil until streams run muddy and ecosystems unravel. We're not here for sport. We're here out of necessity, ecological management disguised as a day in the hunt. On a raw winter morning near San Marcos, our team, Chris, Liam, Ashley, Garrick, Phoenix, and a crew of tireless hounds split into positions along the forest edge, the line between village life and wild chaos. The woods felt alive in a different way. Not just birdsong, but the tense silence that comes before motion. Then the leaves snapped. A giant boar exploded from the underbrush, like a living, battering ram. Shots cracked through the air, precise and practiced, and the beast folded, the forest briefly reclaiming a quiet it hadn't felt in months. Every trigger pull that day had weight beyond the blast. It was about protecting corn stalks, saving a neighbor's goat, stopping fences from becoming nothing but driftwood on the ground. Not far off, a pack of dogs yelped and surged. We hustled to the intercept point Phoenix had marked, breath fogging in the cold. I tracked a runner through a gap in the brush and took a clean shot. No theatrics, just a decisive end to another night of digging and destruction. Rain began to pepper the canopy, and we huddled in ambush, waiting for the herd to move toward shelter. When they came, they moved like a single thundering mind, a line of beasts sprinting the trail. Liam waited, then opened up. The lead boar went down, the others melting back into shadow-lying paths. 5 minutes later, the dogs started up again, and this time a lone boar charged out right at me. I didn't hesitate. Repeated shots, it staggered and rolled down a slope, inertia carrying it like punctuation to the sentence of the hunt. We whistled the dogs in. They nosed the undergrowth until the body was found. The sun still rode high as we pushed deeper into the green, only to run into another crosspath, a volley of shots, a few misses, a few hits, the air snapping with noise and purpose. You could feel the team tighten and then ease with each success. The nervous energy became shared triumph as we moved through blown ferns and twig-scarred earth. At one point, the woods gave up a dark shape that burst from the thicket. I fired and missed. A radio call sent another hunter in pursuit, and then a clean shot rang out. One more giant down, another neighborhood a little safer. I never saw myself pulling a rifle to defend my own farm. I imagined planting corn, raising goats, living quiet. But wild hogs don't read our plans. They root through fences at night, dig into fields before harvest, and will not be deterred by a single scare. In San Marcos, the community made a decision. Standing idle wasn't an option. We taught ourselves to track, to move with dogs, to scan for broken soil and the slick black shapes that signaled a hog's presence. When one dog lit into a bristlebacked runner, there was no time for second thoughts. A rush shot, the boar rolled, the dog on its heels until it tired. That first personal trophy felt strange and necessary at once. Later, Ashley and I found a massive boar asleep near a slope. Before we could steady, it lunged. For a terrifying second, we were staring down the raw force of an animal that could weigh more than 120 kilograms. One charge could break bone, end a life. Gunfire scattered it, hearts hammered, and we learned to give each encounter the reverence and fear it deserved. We split, circled, hid behind trunks, and when the boar sprinted between us, the woods erupted. Fast, sharp fire, and then nothing but the echo. Sometimes they outran us. These animals can reach 40 kilometers per hour, slipping down slopes and vanishing into tangled ravines. Other times, patience and the dog's stamina paid off. Ashley's clean shot brought one down mid-afternoon, and the pride in those hounds was impossible to miss. They aren't just tools. They are teammates, finding scent and wearing the runners thin until the hunters can finish the job. Riding motorbikes through the cornfields added another layer of speed and spectacle, a whole new thrill to an otherwise grim business. I locked onto a boar hidden in a dense stand of corn, fired from a moving bike as it burst into a dirt track, and watched it crumple. Garrick, roaring across open ground, missed his first volley and laughed it off before cutting off the escape route and ending things cleanly. For all the adrenaline, the point remained practical. Mobility lets us cover terrain, intercept fleeing hogs before they reach neighbors' gardens, and reduce the damage done between dusk and dawn. By late afternoon, we were tracking stragglers, following the baying and the faint drag marks to finish what the dogs started. Each downed animal was a small victory against erosion, against lost crops, against fences turned to nothing. The night before the hunt, we'd huddled around a small fire in a creaky shack at the forest's edge, talking through maps and routes, trading jokes to keep nerves steady. The stories had grown. Neighbors reporting ruined fields, children afraid of boars rooting close to town, fences smashed into useless heaps.
If you'll enjoy this video, please like and subscribe my channel for more information.